26th parikrama for this Kartik 2023. And today we have a most glorious day. It's many, many different pastime places. So we're going to Varsana and we're going to visit all the secret places, Dana-garha, Mana-garha, Gahvaravana, and all different places in Varsana. So we'll hear the glories of Rishabhana Maharaj's kingdom and Shri Radhika's home in Varsana today. But first we'll have our exciting kirtan. Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayani Namine Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Ashtakshagishathamine. You can move it around a bit. Padaya Yogashaya Bhutale Shima Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Sanchara Chakora Savala Rashastamandahasya Purna-purna-saudya-sagare Sadakari Kalolani Lakuntala Vasuna Gosha Gomsita Kadamari Kalambama Pushpamekala Shasharatna Pinki Kalapamaya Kandika Garoha Soba Gaurate Karakari Siyama Vipakata Shabhati Mana-garha Sanikvanati Gaurate Vilolahe Madalari Vidam Vicharu Chankame Adakari Sasiyama Vipakata Shabhati Vishnu-lokanamra padma-charchite imagrijam olomata virinchaka-varakade Marasi iriditi asad-padam gulinate adakari yasiyama vipakata shabhayana Sriji Sareshwari Sureshwari Sriveda-bharati Amanasa Sareshwari Rameshwari Rameshwari Ramodathaneshwari Rajeshwari Radhike Namaste Iti Mamatvam Namaskara Nishamya Bandhanandini Karoti Sankara Vipataka Shabhajana Tataiva Sanchita Priyupakamalasana Avekata No-mandala Parikrama Vilasa-garha Mandalam Sukarna Kundalam Sucharchitam Gachandalam Namami Nandanam Sudirgane Prapantaja Shikishikam Nimurtaja Nanangato Imohana Namami Nandanam Sulasita Brahmoptika Swachanda Danta Pantika Navambudanga Chikana Namami Nandanam Karenove Saranjita Kati Karindra Ganjita Dukula Pita Shobana Namami Nandanam Srivanga Deha Sundara Utaditi Sudakara Amulya Ratna Bhusana Namami Nandanam Sugandha Anga Sorabha Muro Virajito Stupa Surashriva Salanshana Namami Nandanam Vrindavana Sunarana Vilasa-nuga Varsana Surendra Pramochana Namami Nandanam Jayanta Sada Sudha Pradayaka Jagannala Pralobana Namami Nandanam
Katam Tadevya Shradhayam Vita Tare Bhavam Hindustara Tadai Bhavam Viyurmata Namami Nandanandana Namami Nandanandana Namami Nandanandana Namami Nandanandana Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Hari Nitai Gaura Hari Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. Jai Shishi Guru Garanga Ganhavika Giridhari. Radha Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai. Radha Govinda Ju Ki Jai. Radha Gopinath Ju Ki Jai. Nityananda Rai Ki Jai. Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarzara Shishimad. Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarzara Shishimad. Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarazara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Leela Prabhishna Om Asto Tarazara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Srila Gaura Kishodas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Jai Saptam Goswami Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Jai Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Jai Srila Baladevi Dibhushan Gaudiya Vedanta Acharya ki jai. Jai Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur ki jai. Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Treya ki jai. Jai Srila Krishnas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Shivata Raghunath Sri Jiva Gopal Bhattadas Raghunath Sat Goswami Prabhu's ki jai. Jai Swarab Damodar Rai Ramananda Gauda Prasada ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haras Thakur ki jai. Prem Siga Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kund Giri Govardhana ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Ganga Jamuna ki jai, Brihat Mridanga ki jai, Sankirtan Yagya ki jai, Nam Bhajan ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra ki jai, Nishingadev Bhagavan ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Gopshwa Mahadev ki jai, Punamasi Devi Maharani ki jai, Antadvip Mayapur Simantadvip Gotandvip Madhyadvip Koladvip Ritadvip Tanadvip Motandvip Rudravip Atmaka Navadvip Dham ki jai, Bandiravan Badaravan Belvan Lohavan Mahavan Madhuvan Talvan Kamudvan Bahulavan Vrindavan Kadyavan Kamyavan Vraja-mandala ki jai, Urja Brat ki jai, Niyama Seva ki jai, Chatumasya Brat ki jai, Varsana ki jai, Anantakota Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Gauda Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Om Timirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Taralaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarabhaktaya Namo Namaha Yam Pravajantamanapetyam Apetikriyam Dvaipayano Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putreti Tammayatayo Taravo Vinidustam Sarvabhutam Munimanatosmi Anapita Chirim Chirat Kurunavaritino Kalo Samarpaitam Unnata Ujvalarasam Svabhakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundarata Dikatam Vasadipita Sada Hridare Kandare Spuratu Vasachinandanaha Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Shiptas Chakarmadi Tarangamadye Kripa Maitvam Saranam Prapana Rinde Namaste Charanarvindam Vajami Radam Aravinda Netram Smarami Radam Madhurashmitasyam Vadami Radam Karuna Paradram Tato Mamanasti Katina Kapi. I first of all offer millions and millions of Tavai Vasmi Najivami Tvaivina Iti Vignaya Rate Tvam Nayamam Charanantikam. I first of all offer millions and millions of Dandavat pranams unto the lotus feet of my most beloved Gurudev Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Asto Tadasara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And the same again millions and millions of times unto the lotus feet of our beloved Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Asto Tadasara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and unto all the illustrious Rupanuga Guru Vargya, and all the Vaishnava and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams to all of you. Vansha kalpa tarubhyascha, kripa sindhavevacha, patitanam pavanebhyo, Vaishnaveda Namaha. So today we're going, I'll show you on the map. We're going from Govardhan, and we're going to go direct to Varsana, which is here. So the other day we went to Uncagaon, we went to Kamyavan already. We've been to Sanket also, which is there, and we've come around this back way. So Varsana is one of the last places we're going to visit, as well as Javat. In a couple of days we'll go to Javat, which is on the other side of Uncagaon. So today we're just going to go to Varsana, which is right here in relationship to the Jamuna. Jamuna Devi moves, of course, over the thousands of years. Originally, Jamuna Devi was very close by to Varsana, but now it's shifted and it's further east.
So, but this is our destination today. So, Varshana. Varshana literally means a shower. Varsha means shower or rain in Hindi, right? It means rain. So, a shower of nectar has been poured all over this area because of the manifestation of Krishna's divine counterpart, Sri Radhika, manifesting here, taking her birth in this place, or manifesting here. So we come in on our buses. The journey is about 22 miles, and sometimes the road has been good, and sometimes it's not good. At the moment, I think it's quite good. So we come into Varshana, and we park our buses, and then we have the Sriji up on the left, on top of the hill. We're going to get down from our buses and go to the right, down a small little lane, and we'll come into Vrishabhanu Kund. Vrishabhanu Kund is very large, beautiful kund. It's was manifested during Vrishabhanu Maharaj's time, and it's got beautiful pillars, etc. And obviously, 5,000 years ago, it looked even more beautiful. But it's very extensive, and we can remember the nature of Vrishabhanu Maharaj's family. Vrishabhanu Maharaj, all his family lineage consider themselves to be part of the sun. Banu means son, and Vrishabhanu's brother is called Ratna Banu. Another brother is called Subanu. Another brother is called Chandra Banu. His sister is called Mudra Banu. And Radharani's great grandfather, or grandfather rather, on the paternal side, is called Mahi Banu. So they're all Banus. So Banu means son, and Vrisha comes from the zodiac sign of the bull. The bull is in May and April, Taurus. So the bull um, symbol, the bull sign, is Vrisha. Vrisha is bull in Sanskrit. So Vrishabhanu, he's the manifesting in that time. He's a Taurian. So he's Vrishabhanu. So this is the nature of the mood where Radharani has taken a birth, worshipping the sun god. We see in Radharani's pastimes, she worships the sun god practically every day. They're connected to the sun god, whereas Krishna's dynasty is connected to the moon god. It's Chandravams. So there's a distinction there. So Rishabhanu Maharaj would come daily, take his bath in this kund where we're standing now. And in some kalpas, it's described, he would discover Radharani on a 1,000-petal lotus in Rabal. We've been in Rabal already. It is in Gokul. So Gokul and Rabal are places where um, Krishna and Nanda Baba and Vrishabhanu Maharaj resided prior to coming to Varshana. But in some days of Lord Brahma, they manifest their pastimes immediately here in Varshana. So it's described how Vrishabhanu Banu Maharaj he came to this kund one day and saw the effulgent lotus with Srimati Radhika was lying on that lotus, and he takes her home and gives her to Kirtida. But we've already described the birth of Radharani as manifesting originally from the womb of Kirtida, but it was transferred to the womb of the Vindhya mountain, his wife. She gave birth there to Chandravali also. Chandravali's father is Chandrabanu, who's the uncle of Srimati Radhika. So Radha and Chandravali are cousin sisters because they're in the same line. But Chandravali worships Gauri in Gauri Sakhistali. So Vrishabhanu Maharaj finds this effulgent child, but she's blind, and he takes her home, and Kirtida immediately knows her as her own. This is how it's described. She knows her as her own and takes that child into the household. And I've said before the story in Ravel where Narad comes and wants to do, he's looking for Krishna's consort. He knows that she's manifested, and he has darshan of Srimati Radhika at that time. And then there's that pastime where he sends Vrishabhanu Maharaj off to get a whole long list of ingredients for a yagya so they can celebrate the birth of this child, in order that Narad can have more time spent in offering his stavra and stuti to this beautiful, this is Lakshmi Devi. Narad is seeing her like an expansion of Lakshmi Devi. That's how Narad is like a Vaikunthavasi. He travels everywhere. He has his form as Madhu Mangal in Braj, but still his place of travel is within the Vaikuntha worlds as well as Golok and Mathura, etc. So this is something of the birth or the manifestation of Srimati Radhika. So when we're in this kund, we can remember the family of Sri Radhika, Kirtida, Radhika's mother, and Vrishabhanu Maharaj, and their lineage. They all associate themselves with the sun god. They all associate themselves in worship and honor to the sun god. So this is important to appreciate at this point. So now we're taking darshan of this beautiful, splendid kund, where sometimes later on, Radhika would come with her Sakhis and would bathe here. And sometimes Krishna and the Sakhas would bathe on the other side. And the same pastime that we've heard in Sarovara, where Krishna would swim underneath and pull the gopis' feet as they were bathing, and then swim back again, so no one could even see him. So these playful, beautiful, sweet pastimes take place here. But of course, Radharani, when she's of that marriageable age, at about 12, 13 years old, she shifts to Javat. So the pastimes that we're today are when Radhika is younger than the older pastimes from Javat. So now from Rishabhanu Kund, we turn around and we go back to the place where we parked our buses on the main road, and we cross over the main road and we walk into the township of Varsana. And we walk through with nice kirtan, etc. And we have to be careful of avoid the buffaloes. There's many buffaloes and cows wandering around in the streets. It's a very attractive place. Everything about Varsana is filled with sweetness and beauty and gentleness, in contrast to Nandagan. Nandagan has a different atmosphere. When we're in Nandagan, it's Krishna's realm. It's a bit more, more bold in its strength. But Varsana is very, very gentle and delicate. So we come through the township, and this parikrama is being described as 4 miles altogether. So we come in and we come through the township, and then we start our descent. So there's 4 hills here that we're going to wander around in. Well, there's actually 5, because there's Vishnu Parvat, which is on the left hand side, and there's Brahma Parvat, which is on the right. So Lord Brahma, he performed austerities for a length of time, it's described, and satisfied Krishna with his austerities. And Krishna said, you can accept a boon. And he said he wanted to become like a stone in Braj. Where how can he have closer contact with the pastimes? So Krishna directs him, you take birth as the four hills. Your four heads can be the four hills of Varsana, where Srimati Radhika will perform so many pastimes with Krishna. So these four hills that are to our right as we walk up, and they're more light in color. If we look at Vishnu Parvat today, it's a darker color stone that is there. And if we see Brahma Parvat, it's a lighter color stone. So it's very easy to distinguish between the two. But as we walk up the trail towards, ultimately we're going to Sriji on the top, and we're going through all the different places on the way up. And we, first of all, we come to Sankiri-khora. The Sankiri-khora is this very narrow gorge, we can say, narrow place where only one single person can go down at a time. So on the left-hand side is Vishnu Parvat. On the right-hand side is Brahma Parvat. So we're coming through this narrow passageway, which, as we will hear, is very, very conducive for Krishna's tax collecting pastimes. This is a joyful pastime that Krishna performs regularly. It's part of their play, the children's play, to enact this pastime, because Krishna can be the dominant collector, and Radharani and the gopis, they can be ultimately submissive to the tax collector, because that's always how it works out in the end. So there's a deep significance also to the geography of this, where we're going. We're going to Gahvaravana, and Gahvaravana means a very secret place. So to come to this secret place, we can only go alone, as we've discussed many times. It's a solitary journey to come to that place. So just like going through Sankiri-khora, the sadhak has to go alone, completely alone. No one else is with him, because you can't physically get two people down that gorge. Only one person at a time can go through there. So this is also significant of its confidentiality to come into Gahvaravana. So at this place in Sankiri-khora, there's beautiful pastimes described, principally where Krishna, he takes the role again of tax collector, and the gopis are coming through with all their pots of dahi and milk, etc. And they carry ladus in their madkas also. And Madhu Mangal is always anxious to get the ladus and the yogurt and the butter, the makan. So as they're coming through, then Krishna has all his sakhas arranged as tax collectors. Sri Ram is very big and strong, and there's other sakhas who are Stoka Krishna, etc. And they make a gateway, and they won't allow Radharani and her Sakhis to come through unless they pay a tax. And there's a very beautiful, loving quarrel that takes place between Krishna and Sri Radhika and Lalita and Vrinda Devi and Vishaka and the gopis. And all the gopis are in complete ecstasy because they're having this exchange with Krishna. And Krishna is in ecstasy having this exchange with all the gopis. So this is the play, this is the beautiful pastime. And then eventually Krishna will extract a significant tax from the gopis. They will have to give him some of their butter, some of their yogurt, etc., their ladus. And then Krishna allows them to travel through. But the gopis, they, just like in Dangati, when we were in Govardhan, they arrange for a, what do you call it? They want to defeat Krishna themselves. How do you call that? How do you say? Something like that. There's a better word.
Revenge.
Huh?
Revenge.
Revenge. Yes, thank you. Very simple. They want their revenge for Krishna for extracting these taxes from them. So they make an arrangement where just a few gopis will come through carrying the pots, and all the other gopis, thousands and thousands of gopis, they've hidden behind the rocks and trees in the area. And when these few gopis get stopped by the crowd of Sakas and Krishna, then the gopis, they make a signal, and straight away these hundreds of thousands of gopis, they jump out from behind the rocks and trees, and they grab all the Sakas, and they tie them all up, and they slap their cheeks, even until they're swollen. And then they grab Krishna, and then they tie him up, and they tie his Sika to a tree, and then they put a yogurt pot on top of his head. And Lalita, she's standing at a distance, and she has a large rock, and she throws it perfectly, and it breaks the yogurt pot, and all the yogurt comes all over Krishna. And they've dressed Krishna up like he's a Saki. They put a skirt on him, a trolley on him, etc. And they've made him look like a gopi. They say, how does it feel to be robbed like this? And Krishna's holding his ears and say, no, I'll never do this again. I'll never do this. They make him bow down and say he'll never do this again. And they're making all the Sakas do the same thing. They're making Madhu Mangal. Madhu Mangal is terrified, of course. And they're making him hold his ears and beg for forgiveness from these powerful Sakis who have defeated them completely, that they will never again do like this. But of course, this is all part of their beautiful, beautiful lila and pastime acts that they do together, which are very sweet. So this whole atmosphere is like resonating with these sweet, childlike pastimes that they performed. So we come through this Sankiri-khora, and immediately we come to the village of Cikasauli. Cikasauli is the place of Chitrasakhi, and today you can walk through there, and it's a very small village, but they're very accommodating, amazing people. When you come through, you can ask for a roti at any shop, and immediately you can be given a hot roti straight away. And they'll be honored that you came to their place. And so we come through. This is the, yes, as I said, Chitrasakhi. So Chitrasakhi is the artist, the principal artist of Krishna's group. And there's a pastime where Radharani, she's feeling great distress and separation from Krishna. So Lalita asks Chitrasakhi to make a painting of Krishna. So Chitrasakhi makes a paint. She grinds the different jewels to make the colors of the paints. She'll grind rubies to make red, and emerald to make green, and sapphires to make blue, the paint that she puts on the canvas. And then Radharani, she's completely enamored by this beautiful painting that she sees of Krishna. But then later on, she sees a jeweled form of Krishna, like a deity form. And she completely gives her heart to that jeweled form, as well as she's given her heart to that painting. And then later on, she sees Krishna in his Tribhanga form with his flute, and she completely gives her heart to that form. But then she starts to feel remorseful because she's given her heart, she thinks, to 3 different men in the same morning. And she becomes totally distraught by this. And then she goes to Lalita and says, I have to actually leave my body. I've broken Dharma completely. Not only have I left my husband, but I've given my heart to 3 different men today. And Lalita says, hi, Saki, what are you talking about? And then Radharani describes, well, the painting that Chitrasakhi did completely took my heart. And then the jeweled murti that I saw after that completely took my heart. And then the form of Krishna that I saw. And then Lalita and all the Sakis, they all start laughing and clapping. Oh, dear Radhika, this is all the same person. This is all the same person that you're seeing. So then Radhika, she becomes a little shy and she realizes this. So this is one pastime that takes place here in Cikasauli. So we remember Chitrasakhi when we come into this little village. So we're moving our way down now. We've come from the bottom all the way up through Sankiri-khora down into Cikasauli. And then we come around a little bit into the small streets, and we come into a large courtyard area. Now we're into the area of Gahvaravana. Gahvaravana it literally means secret forest, Gahvaravana. So we come into this secret forest, and just beside that courtyard is Dohini Kund. Dohini Kund is the place where Vrishabhanu Maharaj would keep many of his hundreds of thousands of cows. So there's a kund there, and this is where Vrishabhanu Maharaj would keep his cows, etc., in that place. And today, when we go there, there's a very large um, building. I think it's owned by Punjabis, I'm not sure, but they distribute enormous amounts of prasadam. They have um, sets of 6 chapati machines, and they have about 10 of them. They can make like 60 chapatis in a few, 10 minutes or something like that. So it's an incredible building. So we take our prasadam, we arranged previously. So we generally have our breakfast prasadam in this courtyard I'm describing now. So we've come through Cikasauli and we've come into Gahvaravana. We're actually into the courtyard. It's like a big courtyard, and it has nice large trees around the edges and has sitting places and so on. And there's water taps, and so there's all facility there for 2 or 3 or 4,000 pilgrims at the same time. So they're used to feeding thousands and thousands of yatris in this place. So we take some prasadam there of khichdi and some roti. And then we look up from that courtyard and we can see on top of a hill Mayur Kuti. This Mayur Kuti there's about 500 steps to climb. So the energetic devotees, they run up this steep staircase to this very beautiful round temple. And in this place is where Radha and Krishna, they were so inspired by the beauty of the dancing of the peacocks. The peacocks, when they put their feathers and plumes out, they dance in such an energetic way. And Radha and Krishna were there, and then they want to imitate the dancing of the peacocks. So immediately the Sakis there arrange for a beautiful fan of peacock feathers they can hold behind them or get attached behind them. And then Radha and Krishna are dancing in such an astonishing way. All the Sakis are just amazed at how beautifully they dance. And then even it's described that the clouds, because the peacocks, they dance most vigorously when the rain clouds come over, just before the rains come. So at this time, when they're dancing, even rain clouds come, and just to add to the whole atmosphere of the dance. And Radha and Krishna are very energetically dancing exactly like the peacocks. And all the Sakis, they begin to cheer and clap. And it's a very, very, and when we come into this temple, we see beautiful paintings on the altar, and there's Radha and Krishna on the altar also, and they have these beautiful decorations on. So we remember this incredible, astonishing pastime between Radha and Krishna. So Radha and Krishna, actually at every moment practically, they're engaging in most incredible pastimes of this nature. Everything is dramatically moving along, all the different playful acts that they're doing with each other. So then we can come down that staircase and we come back to the courtyard in Gahvaravana where we took prasadam. And now we're going to start walking up the side of Brahma-parvat, the side of the hill, which will eventually come to Sriji. So we just come a little way, a few hundred yards up some stairs, and we come into the most beautiful kund. It's called Krishna Kund. It's so attractive. It's very sunk deeply into the side of the mountain, and it's shaded by large, beautiful shading trees and creepers and so on. And Radha and Krishna performed many pastimes here in this place. Yes, and this is where the parikrama party generally sit, and we hear Harikatha about where we've been and where we're going. Because as we're walking along, you can't really give much Harikatha while you're all walking. So we have to find comfortable sitting places. So at this place, Krishna Kund, traditionally, is a place where all the devotees sit. And my Gurudev would stand here and speak so many beautiful explanations of, he would describe there about Sankiri-khora and Chitrasakhi, etc., all these different pastimes he would be describing, and where we were just about to go to. So we would hear basically a lot of beautiful pastimes in Krishna-kunda, but it's a very attractive place for the consciousness to just take shelter of, because now we're into the very secret place of Gahvaravana. This Gahvaravana means secret, like I used to describe. So from Krishna-kunda, then just a little way again, maybe another 100 yards, on the left, going up a very steep set of steps, is Mana-garha. Mana-garha is on the top of a hill, and we can see from the bottom, we can see the temple of Mana-garha. And in Mana-garha, of course, it's when Sri Radhika heard from her parrots, she's waiting for Krishna in the Kunja, for Krishna to appear. And Krishna has been hijacked by Saiba and Padma and Chandravali and taken to to Chandravali's place. And he was thinking, I'll just come here for a few minutes and then I'll go and meet Radhika, because we have our rendezvous, our abhisar. And but Krishna starts to chat with Chandravali, and it just goes on and on and on. Krishna becomes Chandravali is so beautiful. She's not as beautiful as Radhika, but she's very, very beautiful. So Krishna is reciprocating with her anurag that she's offering to Krishna at this time. But Radhika's parrots, they come into the kunja where Chandravali and Krishna are just reclining and enjoying their love talks, and they're seeing what's happening, and they go straight back to Radhika and they tell her exactly what's happening between Krishna and Chandra. Radhika goes into a very high state of man in this place, and then she goes to this place, Mana-garha, and she sits there in deep man. And Krishna, he has to come and use all his expertise to try to break this man. He can't actually break her. Her man is very strong. There's different sorts of man with a cause and man without a cause. It's sahetu and nirhetu. Nirhetu means there's no reason for the man, because sometimes Radhika just goes into man. And sahetu, it means there is a reason for the man. But this man is a very intricate part of the development of their highest stage of meeting, because without this man, it can't really progress to the next stage of pranaya. When we understand the different stages, we have, first of all, prem, then sneha, man, pranaya, rag, anurag, bhav, mahabhav, and then Rudha and Adiruddha Mahabhav. We have these different stages. So to come from Man to Pranaya, this is the next stage beyond Man. But this Man is like a separation. It is a separation. It's considered a mood of separation. So when the separation is there, then of course the sambhog ultimately is going to be intensified. So Sri Radhika is resolute, keeping her man, and then Krishna becomes very bewildered, doesn't know how to break it, and then Vrinda Devi suggests that she takes the Vishaka and Vrinda, she's there as well. It depends on how it's been told. It's not always, because these are eternal pastimes that are going on regularly, so there's always some details that can be shifted. But Vishaka suggests then that Krishna should disguise himself as a young girl. But we should understand that Krishna always performs this disguise under the direction of Vrinda Devi. Vrinda Devi is Yogamaya. So when Krishna takes on a disguise, Krishna really becomes exactly like that person. She has the ability to make him completely as a female. So Krishna looks so charming. And then Vishaka takes Shamali or Shama Saki to Radhika and says, "Oh, she plays so beautifully on the veena. Um, you should hear her music, etc." So Radhika makes a very nice seat for her, and Shama Saki is sitting there. But Radhika has no idea this is Krishna. This is because of the brilliance of Brinda Devi, who is Yogamaya, in disguising him. So it's not just like we would do a drama and he gets disguised, but he really is disguised. And when he's sitting next to Radhika, Radhika becomes so inspired by his beautiful Veena playing, she embraces him. And then as soon as she embraces him, she can smell his fragrance and really immediately understand this is my Sham. And then she smiles, she laughs, then she's broken her man. As soon as she smiles, Krishna will say, "Ah, now you've broken your man." And then all the Sakis will clap. They're all very relieved. But understand it's a part, it's an intricate part of the stages that the Sakis and Krishna they go through to build this speciality of their meeting. It's all manifesting for purpose. Radharani will never do anything to dissatisfy Krishna, not for a single moment. Every single atom of her being is only to please and satisfy Krishna. So without having this opportunity to go into Man, Krishna doesn't have the opportunity to do that seva to break her Man. Krishna is so happy to have that seva to break him. So without Chandravali, how can that Man manifest? So Chandravali, don't underestimate her necessity being in Braj. She has to be there. There has to be the opposition. Otherwise, how will Radhika demonstrate these stages, high stages of Man? And how will the Leelas proceed without this um, Man ingredient? So Krishna breaks them. But this is Manga, and we can climb the stairs. It's quite a steep climb. And today there's one Baba there, Ram Das Baba. And he was very, very friendly with my Gurudev. When my Gurudev was leaving this world, he came to visit him a number of times and he would speak with my Gurudev. My Gurudev was very respectful towards this Baba. This Baba has lived there for more than 60 years. He stayed in this very place in Varsana. And he has taken a duty to shelter the cows and the trees of Vrindavan. If you're standing on Manga, you can look down. There's a huge, huge valley just on the other side of the peak of this mountain. And you can look down into the valley and you see nothing but like an ocean of white, moving white. These are all Surabhi cows. He has a huge Goshala down there, hundreds of thousands of cows. You get the image of what it must have been like when Krishna and the Sakas were taking all these hundreds of thousands of cows out cow grazing. You can get an image, an impression from that of all these cows going into the Goshala or coming out of the Goshala. It's extremely beautiful. Anyway, Ramdas Baba, he lives there in that ashram. Some people are there looking after him. He's older now, and he's a very gentle soul. He gives shelter to a number of Western devotees also stay there, but he's a very genuine personality. So now we return and we come back down from Manga and we come back onto the trail leading up the side of Brahma Parvat. And we're walking through and we come to a little cluster of buildings which we wind through. And this is one place where Radha and Krishna, they had a swing here and they would actually swing sometimes in this particular place. And the Sakis would also swing. By the way, there's many monkeys on this whole journey that we're going today. So today we have to take a monkey stick if you're alone, or if you're with a large group, we just have to make. The monkeys are not intimidated though by large groups, so we have to get the mercy of Radharani to be protected from the monkeys as we go up, because the monkeys are quite vicious on the way up. So then we come through this place and we come up to Danga. From Danga, we can look across Brahma Parvat and we can see Vilas-garha. We can see the temple of Vilas-garha. We don't actually go and visit Vilas-garha because it's on Vishnu Parvat and the road up there is very much broken. It's just like rocks and so on. So we don't usually go on the parikrama party to Vilasa-garha, but we hear about Vilasa-garha, that when Radha and Krishna were very young, Krishna came by one day while Radha and her Sakis, they were just playing in the dust, basically, small children. And Krishna came through, and he's always been attracted to Radhika, and he wanted to just embrace Radhika, but he was a little shy. And somehow Yogamaya manifested a dust storm at that very time, so everything became full of dust. So Krishna runs through and he embraces Radhika, when they're just little children, but he embraces Radhika at that time, and because of the dust storm that manifested. So many pastimes, like Vilas means playful, so Vilas-garha, Ga means secret. So these secret, playful pastimes took place in Vilasa-garha. So we went to Mana-garha, and now we're coming to Dana-garha. Vilasa-garha is just on the other side on Vishnu Parvat, and we're following the trail around up, and it branches off to the left, and we come up, and in Dana-garha, we see a huge, like a archway, which was actually a swing previously. So in this Dana-garha, Dana-garha also means taxes. Like it's another place where Krishna would enact the tax pastimes and tax all the gopis. So this pastime is very much repeated because it's a playful sport that Krishna and the gopis, they love to exchange. The gopis only want to give their produce to Krishna. They only want to give their butter and milk to Krishna. So they're most happy ultimately when he comes and steals it this way. Just like the elderly gopis in the village, they're not really unhappy when Krishna steals their butter, etc. So this another tax pastime is performed here at Dana-garha. And then we come through from Dana-garha and we come into the um, uh, Jaipur Palace, it's called. It's a very beautiful building, and it's very cool. If you've traveled on this parikrama in the heat, then it's coming into this palace is a very much relief for the pilgrims to come in. It's very high inside, and it's always cool inside. And there's beautiful deities of Radha and Krishna in front of us, and there's no significant pastime here except that the Rajputs from Rajasthan, they built this Jaipur palace for their coming with their queens, etc., and their different retinue. They would come and they would stay here in this Jaipur palace in honor the Rajput kings, the Man Singh family, etc. Bhagavan Das, we talked about building the Mana-sarovara. These personalities were greatly devoted. They're the ones who completely, fully took responsibility for the deities when they came out of Vrindavan. So they're very respected, devoted personalities. So they built this beautiful palace there. And we can sit in the cool shade for Sunday, and we can have a wonderful kirtan in that place also. And then we come out of this Jaipur palace, and now we're coming more onto a sort of level ground. And actually, cars can even come up today to this Jaipur palace. There's a road that comes up there, but we won't go down that road to the right, but we'll go along the higher road to the left, which brings us to the Sriji Mandir. So we walk along and we see many children just lying on the road in the form of Krishna stretched out, begging for some rupees or some sweets or something. It's very sweet. There's many kids here, and they're always selling the dahi, the lassi. Lassi is traditionally sold everywhere around here. So we come up this path and we will enter into directly Sriji Mandir. We come directly into the Mandir here. And today we should understand that this is the place of Radhika's, where Radhika is worshipped. This Sriji Mandir is where Radhika is worshipped. Her home with Rishabhana Maharaj and Kirtidar is at the bottom of the hill, which we'll go to afterwards. But now when we're coming into Sriji, Sriji itself was The deity was manifested in 1540 or 1570 by one Narayan Bhatta Goswami. Narayan Bhatta, he came to Braj in 1547, it's described. And he's written one very beautiful book called Braja, let's see what it's called again. Braja Bhakti Vilas. Vraja Bhakti Vilas. And it has over 6,000 descriptions of different pastimes. So this was in the 16th century that he came up. And actually in the Sriji Mandir, there are of course many pandas, and most of them are in the line of Narayan Bhatta Goswami. He established the Thakurji, and most of the pujari, they're all in his line, which are Gaudiyas. It's a Gaudiya line, so they're all in his line. So we come into the beautiful Sriji temple, which certainly this time of the year is going to be jam-packed solid. There are so many, but there's such a wonderful atmosphere when we come in of devotion. You can just feel it. It's very beautiful and inspiring. And there's a huge balcony that overlooks the township of Varsana, that we can have darshan of this the township. But then on the altar we see beautiful Srimati Radhika and Krishna in their beautiful Thakurji forms. And in the ceiling, in the roof, there are beautiful paintings, very ornate paintings you can see, very intricate. But the whole place it's very large, and there's always kirtan. And when we would come with my Gurudev, we'd be a large party, more than 2,000 people, and we would have huge kirtan in the hall there. And then my Gurudev, then we would all sit down and we'd all sing Radha Kripakataksha and Namami Nandanandanam. But when we read the translation for the Radha Kripakataksha, we should understand that this is glorifying Radhika. So this prayer is most pleasing to Krishna. When we sing this Munindra Ravindra Vandite every day, or twice a day we're singing during this month, this is Krishna is attracted to this kirtan. But the next kirtan that we sing, this Namami Nandanandanam, this is when Radhika is actually glorified in this kirtan, because she is, it's described, this kirtan has manifested from the heart of Sri Radhika. So I want to read through this kirtan now that we're sitting in Sriji and try to appreciate the nature of this Namami Nandanastakam that we're singing daily. So the Radha Kripakataksha is very beautiful, but it's Krishna is attractive, but Radhika is attracted to the, and my Gurudev described, this is coming from the heart of Sri Radhika. It's saying that the author is an ancient prayer by an unknown Vaishnava author. So that's how it's described. So I'm just going to read the translation here. So understand what is happening here. Radhika, she is actually sleeping. And in her sleep, she's having a dream. She's aware that she's sleeping, and in her sleep, she's aware that she's dreaming. Right? This is how it is. So when she's dreaming, then she wakes up and she wants to describe the nature of her dream to the Sakhis. And she wants to describe this incredible personality that she experienced in her dream. And she wants that the Sakhis can also experience the beauty of this personality. Because Radhika, she always likes to bring the Sakhis to Krishna. The Sakhis are so supportive of Sri Radhika, and she feels so endeared to them that she wants to bring the Sakhis to Krishna. So here, she's going to be describing this is Chitra Sakhi again, who we described as the artist. and she's going to do a painting to try and invoke the presence of Krishna. This is what this um, bhajan is about. So first of all, they have to draw his round face. So they're drawing like a moon-like impression on the canvas. Then they want Krishna to hear the kirtan that they're about to sing. So then she paints his beautiful ears, which are adorned with hanging jeweled earrings. And now they have to give life to this painting. So his body is nicely, oh, sorry, his body is nicely anointed with fragrant sandal paste. So they're realizing, they're thinking in their meditation at this point that Krishna will become somewhat heated by the um, uh, thought of being with Sri Radhika. So they want to calm, they want to cool his body. So it's described, they anoint the side of the painting with fragrant sandal paste. Fragrant sandal paste is put to cool the body down. So we're offering pranam to that Nandanandan. And then they want Krishna to see them. So it's described the eyes are elongated like lotuses. So they draw the eyes so that the painting will become alive and see them. And then, of course, they have to have his unique individual emblem of the peacock feathers adorning his head. And this creates such a festival in the hearts of the Sakis because he's looking like a million cupids. The painting has become alive now. It's got the eyes, it's got the life air, it's got the fragrance, it's got so many qualities about Krishna. So I'm offering my pranam there. From the tip of his beautiful nose hangs an elephant with pearl. His rows of teeth shine naturally like pearls. So it's describing his mouth. So it's becoming more intimate now, or becoming more close to the reality of the personality in the painting. And his bodily complexion shines like a fresh rain cloud. So now they've incorporated his shyam hue into the painting. And then I'm offering my pranam to that Nandanandan. His hands are adorned with a flute. Of course, he has to have his flute. So now the painting is included with the flute. His majestic gait excels that of a king of elephants, and is beautified by his fine yellow garments. So now he's really become alive. Now practically they've evoked him to come out of the painting. It's as if they've called Krishna. This kirtan is to invoke the presence of Krishna. But Gurudev has described it in this way that I'm describing it something a little bit today. That the painting that Chitrasaki is doing brings Krishna out into their presence. His threefold bending form is most beautiful, and his nails glow like the moon. So now his beautiful Tribhanga form is there for everyone to appreciate. When Krishna is standing, he's doing this deliberately because he knows how attractive this looks. When he's resting on one of his legs and his hips are in a beautiful form way. This is a very, very attractive form that Krishna stands in. So he does this deliberately to demonstrate that he's attracted to the gopis and he wants them to be attracted to him. So his nails glow like the moon, and he is adorned by priceless gems. So he has jewelry on him also. His body exudes an extraordinary, enchanting fragrance. So now they're actually aware of his fragrance. And upon his broad chest, the Kastuba gem shines. So now they're putting the Kastuba gem into the paint. Now Krishna has actually become alive. He's actually here. Along with the mark of Srivats, I offer pranam to Nandanandan. He is Vrindavan's expert paramour, who dresses in a manner to enhance his charming, playful pastime. You see, all of these descriptions are about Krishna. This is why it's so attractive to Radhika to hear this kirtan, because this kirtan is what is most attracting Radhika to appreciate his beautiful fragrance, his beautiful eyes, his flute, his nails, his form, everything about him is brought out of this kirtan in a manner to enhance his charming, playful pastime, and who liberates Indra from his pride. This is showing his prowess in the world at large. Indradev, the king of the Devas. Krishna is even defeating Indradev. So how much of a hero, an attractive hero, is this to the young gopis? The exquisite lover of the damsels of Braj always bestows happiness upon all living entities and enchants their mind. I offer pranam to Sri Nandanandan. Whoever with faith recites these 8 verses glorifying the son of Nanda will easily conquer the insurmountable ocean of material existence and attain shelter at his 2 lotus feet. So this is automatically going to give the shelter of Radhika. We understand that if any bhajan, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he sings in this Radha Bhajane Jati Mati Nahi Bela. He sings this beautiful bhajan, and he's saying, if the desire to worship Sri Radha does not arise, then your worship of Krishna goes in vain. So trying to understand this purpose to worshipping um, Krishna is to establish in the heart, ultimately, service to Sri Radhika, who will please Krishna more than anyone else, the most. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he goes on, we cannot conceive of the sun devoid of sunlight. Similarly, we cannot accept Madhav separate from Radha. One who worships only Madhav is ignorant, and one who disrespects Sri Radha is completely conceited. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's saying like this. Do not ever associate with such persons if your heart longs for the loving youthfulness of Brajaras. So this is the mood from this kirtan that we've just gone through, this Namami Nandanastakam, to appreciate the speciality of coming to, through Radhika, to glorify Krishna. But Krishna is never interested in accepting someone's glorification if they don't have any connection with Radhika. This connection with Radhika is so, this is why our parikrama today is so vital and so sacred and so special, that we come through all these holy places that are completely connected with the playful, childish pastimes of Sri Radhika and Krishna. Because as I said earlier, that when Radhika becomes older, and we're going to hear shortly how she actually eventually marries Abhimanyu and moves to Javat, then these pastimes aren't enacted in the same way as they are during the very young years of Radhika's time in her pastimes. Of course, all of these pastimes are eternal, so they're always going on. But at the same time, there's some context to allow our consciousnesses to be absorbed in these pastimes. So now we can take darshan of everywhere around in this Sriji Mandir, which is very, very beautiful. And the kirtans in particular are extraordinary. And they have a huge moving roof that slides on rollers that will block out the sun if it's too intense. Or in the wintertime, they can slide the roof back to allow more sun to come in. But now we're going to go down the other side. We came up one side of Brahma Parvat, and now we're going to go down the other side, some steep steps down the other side. And at the bottom of the steps, we'll come to, there's an Astasaki Mandir, where all the Sakis are there. We can honor them. And directly opposite, there's a very small little courtyard. And inside that courtyard, we'll see on the altar is Rishabhanu Maharaj and Kirtidar and Radhika and Sridham, her brother, are there all on the altar. So this was where they lived. This was their family home at the bottom of the hill. The family wouldn't live on top of the hill, but they lived on the bottom of the hill. So this is where Vrishabhana Maharaj had his palace and where he actually lived on the bottom of the hill. So we take darshan here and we appreciate the family of Vrishabhana Maharaj and Kirtida. And then we leave, we leave here and we've come down the steps. We've gone a little bit to the right and we've had this darshan of Vrishabhana Maharaj and Kirtida. And then we come back onto the Parikrama trail and we go right again. That means away from the main road, but we come right around and we come to the road that leads ultimately to Uncagaon. There's a road at the side of Varsana and it goes down to Uncagaon. Uncagaon actually is in Kamyavan, but we'll say a few things about Uncagaon today because we didn't actually touch on Uncagaon or Sakhigiri-parvata, which is there, or some other places that are there that we can just mention today. But we come across this road and across a canal and we come to Pili-pokhara. Now, Nrsimha Prabhu, he's going to tell us the pastime at Pili-pokhara. Sinitu.
Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Iti Namane Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So now we are coming to a little pond which is Pili-pokhara. And it's named because there are so many pilu trees in this area where Srimati Radhika used to come with her sakis under the pretext of getting the fruit from these trees. So she would come here from Nandagaon and Krishna and would also come here. And anyway, there were so many lovely pastimes here. But what is specifically important, known about this pond, is that one time Shrimati Ji was visiting Yashoda Mai in Nandagaon with her sakis. And Yashoda Mai's mood, always, she loves Radhika very much. And she was always thinking, oh, what a beautiful, sweet, perfect daughter-in-law she would make. So she has this desire in her heart, and not really intending, but just this mood came, and she painted Srimati's hands with turmeric. And Radhika, internally, she was very pleased. Huh?
Paste.
Paste?
Paste.
Yes,
Paste.
turmeric paste, yes. This is, otherwise, what can you do? It's just powder. So just like on the cows, turmeric paste and handprints, so like that. So when Srimati Radhika gets home and her father and mother, they see her, they're immediately delighted, overjoyed, because they think, oh, Yashoda Mai, she has sent Radhika with this hands, with this paste. This means that she's wants that Krishna and Radhika get married. So we must respond. So they made a big, beautiful basket of jewels and they sent them to Yashoda Mai.
Let me just interrupt for a
Yes.
second. This is the vital ingredient is that she comes to the kund to wash the
After,
turmeric off before.
Oh, before.
Of course, before she goes home, she's feeling embarrassed because she's having this turmeric.
Huh.
She washes it off into the kund. The kund goes completely yellow, And
Yes.
some children, they see what she's
Oh,
done,
and they
and
tell.
then they run and
Ah,
tell
thank you,
Kirtidar
Maharaj.
and Vrishabhana Maharaj, who
Thank
then
you.
conclude what is next.
Thank you. So I'm being asked to speak. Maharaj is training me a little, just like Gurudev used to train. He would get different devotees to speak, and they would make all manner of mistakes. So Guru and Gurudev would correct them. So I'm very fortunate Maharaj is training me and correcting me. So yes, Radharani's washed her hands, which is why Pili-pokhara has this name, because the turmeric paste entered the water and turned it yellow. So after that, she goes home, and these children, they tell what has happened. So at this point, then Vrishabhanu and Kirtida, they're overjoyed, and they make a nice big basket of jewels, and they send it to Yashoda Mai. And Yashoda thinks, oh, they are making this offer. They want that Krishna can be husband of Radha. So now she thinks, so I will accept. So I will make this big basket of jewels and send it to them. And the whole village, everywhere they hear, Radha and Krishna are getting married. And everybody is very overjoyed. They're very happy. Except Purnamasi, she's thinking, oh, this is a problem. I must do something. So she goes and she said, so let me do the astrology. Let me see. This is a good match. And so she's doing the astrology, and everything bit by bit is looking very favorable until she sees something in the 12th house, and she's, oh, and all the Brajabasis, they are very, oh, what? She said, this marriage cannot take place, because if they marry, one of them will surely die. And everybody is devastated. And so there's going to be no marriage. But this is very important, because if there was a marriage, then pretty much every pastime, most moods, practically everything would be gone, would be completely vitiated. It would go flat. So that it is in this not swakiya, but parakiya mood that these beautiful pastimes are going on. How would they be coming together and separation if they're married? Means every day, every night, hi, how you doing? Right? It's lost. It's the whole drama, the whole drama, the whole difficulty, the whole coming and going. So this is very, very important pastime that Purnamasi has expertly orchestrated and managed everything like that. So Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vishubdhanam Vaishnavya. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you.
So we understand that it's Krishna's desire that is arranging this parakya. And of course, Yogamaya is always fulfilling all of his desires. So it's an extraordinary pastime. So Pili-pokhara. Actually, there's many yellow trees also that grow on the banks of Pili-pokhara in sympathy with this pastime. And they all lay their beautiful blossoms across the kund also. So when we come to this kund, it really is Pili-pokhara. It really is a yellow kund. But the principle, of course, is the haldi that became with the waters. So this is a very beautiful, sweet pastime. All the pastimes are nothing but sweet. But from this place, we can just quickly go to Uncagaon, which is only a couple of miles down the road now. It's the place of Lalita Sakhi. It's not where she was born. She's born in Kerala, another place. But she comes here with her parents later on. And she spends her time while Radharani is in Varsana, Lalita Sakhi is in Uncagaon. And when Radharani moves to Javat, Lalita's husband, who is Bhairo Gopa. You see, husband? Yes, Bhairo Gopa. He is from Javat. So Lalita moves to Javat when she marries, about the same time as Radhika moves when she, because the rest of the pastime that Nrsimha spoke, that all the Brijbasis are absolutely devastated that Radha and Krishna will never be married. And then a couple of weeks after that, Purnamasi declares, actually Radharani, she should marry that Abhimanyu, the son of Jyotila. What? Him? Like Jyotila is like probably the most envious person in all of Braj. She's always complaining. She never has enough cows. Her son is really like a bit, not always there altogether. Anyway, although Abhimanyu, her son, is considered to be the shadow of Krishna, but he acts, in a very sort of difficult way sometimes. So Purnamasi declares that Radharani should marry Abhimanyu. But my Gurudev describes that when this marriage festival is going on, Krishna, he disguises himself as the little boy. They always have a young boy in the marriage festivals. They have the horse come to collect the groom, and they have a young boy ride with the groom. So this young boy is actually Krishna disguised, and he sits on the lap of Abhimanyu during when the vows are exchanged. And he sits so heavily that Abhimanyu can't speak. So it's Krishna who's speaking and accepting Radharani as his wife. So if you want to look completely shastrically, it's actually Krishna who is legitimately the husband of Radhika. But as you said so correctly, that if this Swakiya was allowed to manifest, then there would be no pastimes, because the generating energy of Parakya is profound with the excitement that it manifests from that dynamism of secretness and so on, confidentiality. So yes, this Parakya manifests from that point onwards. But now we're going to come to Uncagaon just for a little, very briefly. And there's a beautiful temple on the hill dedicated to Lalita Saki, and we can go there. Also, there was a Rasa Leela performed there. We can remember this pastime. Down the bottom of the hill, there's Dehakund, which is a very beautiful lake that's been renovated very nicely. And it was in this Dehakund that Radha and Krishna, they had been bathing one day after a festival. And then as they were getting dressed, one poor Brahmana came and said, please, can you help me? My daughter, I want to get her married, but I have no money. Can you give me some money to help me marry my daughter? And Krishna turned to him and said, the only wealth I have is Sri Radhika. She's my only wealth. I give you Radha. That Brahman said, I don't want two. I've got one daughter already. Now you're giving me two. This is, impossible for me. Then he began weeping, that Brahman. Then Krishna decided, all right, I will give this Brahman what he wants, which is what? Monetary wealth. So he said, there was a scale there. He put Radhika on one end of the scale, and then he started to pile gold up on the other. All the gopis, they took off their gold necklaces, etc., and they all piled them on the side. And when the scale tipped, then he gave all that gold to the Brahmana. And the Brahmana became very pleased, very happy. Now he had enough to marry his daughter, etc. So this pastime takes place here at Dehakund. Deha means body. So Dehakund, this pastime takes place here. And just behind here is Sakhigiri-parvata, where Lalita actually marries Krishna. The Sakhis very cheekily, naughtily, they tied Krishna's pitamba to Radhika's cloth, and Lalita's cloth. What did I say? Yeah, Lalita's cloth. You have to interrupt me if I say something wrong. And then they began all clapping and singing wedding songs. And Lalita thought something's going on here. So she jumped up to run away and then realized she couldn't move because she was tied to Krishna's cloth. And then Tungavidya starts the whole ceremony, and Radha and Krishna, Lalita and Krishna are married at this point. And then Sindhu is put on on Lalita's forehead. And there's a place where we can go there now at this Sakhigiri-parvata, where that red Sindhu is still coming from the rocks. So we have that. We can always decorate ourselves with that. So that's the pastime at Sakhigiri-parvata. But that's our Varsana parikrama. And now we're going to have our Damodar Astakam, and we'll sing this. Can you turn that around? Yes, I have to go to the bathroom quickly.
Namam Vishwarang Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalokum Vibrajamanam Yashodabiyolukka Ladhavamanam Param Svanatjanta Todrukya Gopyam Rudantamo Netra Yukam Rigantam Karam Loja Yukmena Shatanka Netram Mushwasa Kampatri Rekanka Kanta Sita Krivada Loda Rangati Vadam Iti Swalila Vir Ananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajantam Ajapayantam Tadiya Shitageshu Bhakta Jitatvam Puna Prema Dastam Shakariti Vande Param Deva Moksham Na Mokshavadinva Gajanyam Vineham Varishadapiha Idam Deva Purnata Vopanadovam Sadarina Nasya Virasakirati Idam Timumamojam Avyaktinile Vitam Kundalesnita Rakhaisvadopya Nuhostumitam Bimba Rakadarange Manasya Virasam Bhalam Natsulave Namo Deva Damodar Ananta Vishnu Prasida Prabhu Dukha Janabhimajam Kripa Drishti Drishyati Dinam Vadanu Grahani Shamangajam Vidyakshidesham Kuveratma Jaubhakta Mujaiva Yadvat Dayamujito Bhakti Bhajam Vidauta Jata Prema Bhakti Sakame Prayacha Namo Shigraho Mesti Damodareha Namaste Sudamne Suradikidamne Jadi Udarayaka Vishwasidamne Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Natralilaya Devaya Todhyam Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Natralilaya Devaya Todhyam Jaya Damodara Jaya Damodara Jaya Damodara Jaya Damodara Raja Damodara Raja Damodara Jaya Damodara Jaya Damodara Jaya Damodara Jaya Damodara Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha
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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva
Jaya Guru Deva
Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada
Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Haribo
Jai Gora Haribo Haribo Haribo
Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Haribo
Jai Gora Haribo 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 Gaura Premanande Hari Haribo Damodarastakam Ki Jai. There was one more place that we could have visited because we haven't been there yet on our parikrama. It would be a shame to leave it out. Is Prema-sarovara,
Oh yeah.
which is actually the other way from where we are. If we backtrack from Uncagaon, we go past Pili-pokhara and we go past Varsana on our right, and we come up to the main road that led into Varsana. And then we take a left towards Uncagaon, and we go down a little way, only maybe 2 miles, 3 miles, and we come to Prema-sarovara. Prema-sarovara is halfway between Varsana and Sanket. We went to Sanket yesterday. So now Prema-sarovara, we should just touch on at least and honor that place while we're here in this area. So we come into Prema-sarovara, of course, is the beautiful pastime of when Radharani, she's been bothered by a large bumblebee. And it's really trying to take the nectar from her lotus feet. And Madhumangal, he sees this irritation that this bumblebee is causing to Radhika. So he comes with his stick and he chases that bumblebee away. And then he comes back and he says very proudly to the divine couple, Madhusudan has gone forever. Madhusudan, of course, is a name for Krishna as well as bumblebee. So when Radharani, she hears,
Radharani is sitting on the very lap of Krishna at this point. She's sitting on his lap and she hears that Madhusudan has gone away forever. And she goes into such a high state of separation mood. Krishna is amazed. All the Sakis are amazed. Everyone is amazed at the high state of ecstasy or separation mood that Sri Radhika has gone into. And it's at this very moment that Krishna decides, yes, I should leave Braj, because this exalted stage of separation that Radhika exhibits when she thinks I've gone away, even though I'm still here. So this is Prem Vaititya. This is meeting in separation. She's already on the lap of Krishna, but she thinks that Krishna has gone away. This is likened in the spiritual Golok itself, Gokul itself, where all of these, the nature of meeting and separation is conceptual. They have conceptions that they're having separation from Krishna. Actually, the Krishna and the Sakis, the gopis, they're together all the time, but they have a conception of separation to heighten the speciality of the union, the sambhog. If there's no feeling of separation, then the sambhog will be very much less. So when Krishna sees this exhibition of separation in Radhika, even though she's sitting on his lap, at that point he decides, yes, I will leave Braj. Because actually Radhika, the state that she attains is as exalted and as high as when they are in meeting together. I described the other day how these Astasatvika bhavs in their extremity, there's 5 stages. There's Domyata, Jwalata, Dipta, Udipta, and Sudipta, these 5 stages. So the highest stage is Sudipta, when it's all the barb is blazing. But when all 8 of these barbs are blazing, this is when it's Madanakya Mahabhav. When all 8, these barbs are inspired in the connection with the elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether of the very body itself. So these essential elements within the body, they become influenced by these exalted stages of attraction or separation, but they both culminate in the same degree of intensity. In the meeting, it's called Madanakya Mahabhav, and in the separation, it's called Modan. Mohan and Modan Bhav, or Modan Akya Bhav. It can be said either. So this is the pastime at Prema-sarovara that we all, which is an exceptional pastime. This Prem Vaititya is exhibited there by Sri Radhika. So we can circumambulate. It's a very, very beautiful kund, lake, Prema-sarovara, beautiful, very deep. It has new piers coming out into the center area, and it's always filled with beautiful parrots. Beautiful green parrots are there. Large trees are there. It's a very, very attractive place. It's not congested in any way. It's very much out in the open. So it's and there's beautiful Prem Bihari is there. Beautiful deities we can see in the center. There's also Radha Govinda are there in another altar. So there's beautiful, and there's a large ashram there. Actually, devotees can stay there. There's a place where you can stay. So it's a very attractive place. But this pastime of Prem Vaititya, which is considered one of the separation moods, there's 4 moods of separation. There's Purvarag is the first, and then there's Man itself, Prem Vaititya, and Purvas. These 4 moods, and these 4 moods correspond to 4 meeting sambhog experiences. This Shipta and what's the other one? Shipta and Sankshipta, Sankiran, and Prabhav. I've forgotten the other 2. So these meetings, Sankshipta, Sankiran, I can't remember the meetings. So the separation moods correspond exactly to the 4 meeting moods. But this Prem-sarovara is an extremely exalted place for the devotees to have darshan of, take the water on their heads, etc., and appreciate.
Sri Gurudev explained also that Krishna is seeing here that she's in separation, and even though Krishna is right there, he cannot console her. But when he's actually away, then she has spurtis, and she's reminded of his presence in the tamal tree and so on, and she can find some consolation. So therefore, he determined he needed to leave so that she could find consolation in separation. Whereas here, he's feeling, even I'm right here, I cannot console her.
But there are many, many, many reasons why Krishna left. And because we don't want Radhika to be separated from
No.
Krishna ever. So we can never say that the separation is higher than the meeting. Both must be there for the ecstasy to manifest, the meeting and the separation. But definitely this is a fact that when Krishna he appreciates that and he leaves, but he leaves for 100 years. Also, he leaves to demonstrate to us, the conditioned souls, the unwavering height of the gopis' prem, how even after 100 years, it never diminishes one iota. It actually increases. And when the gopis are in that mood of mohan or modan, then Krishna in Dwarka is also experiencing that same mood. So it's a very beautiful contemplation and appreciation. Yes, thank you for that. So Prema-sarovara ki jai, Varsana parikrama ki jai, Uncagaon ki jai, Pili-pokhara ki jai, Vaishnavas ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Ho, Vanshakapatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhaveva cha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha.